Good afternoon, and welcome to Brunch and Budget on Bonfire Radio with your host, Pamela Capallet, a certified financial planner here to help take the bite out of your budget, brunchandbudget.com. I'm your sound provider, Dialect, and here's your host, Pamela Capallet.
Thank you, Dialect, and thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. We are in the second episode of our monthly series with CFED and Dedrick Asante-Muhammad, the director of the Racial Wealth Divide Initiative. And we have another awesome organization that we're going to be featuring today. We are very, very excited to have Gary Cunningham, the president and CEO of Meda. And they provide one-on-one business consulting, access to capital, and connections to market opportunities, specifically for minority entrepreneurs in Minnesota. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this work, Gary.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Yeah, we are super excited to have you. All right, so we wanted to start with some quick stats, and they're very impressive. They do very impressive work, and you can go on their website at meda.org. And they are serving, in 2015, they served 514 entrepreneurs. They created 445 new jobs, gave $20 million in financing, and they secured $94 million in contracts for minority business enterprises. And that's just in Minnesota, y'all.
And they could reach 12 levels in stack income.
Hell yeah. Now that's the real accomplishment. I love it. I love it. Gary's he was named one of Minnesota's Real Power 50 for 2017, remarkable players in Minnesota, in the Minnesota business community, and also knack for getting shit done. They said things, but we can curse on this show, so. And being helpful along the way. So we just wanted to hear in your own words, Gary, what is Meda's main mission? What is the programming? How did you determine what aspects really minority business entrepreneurs needed?
Well, Meda it was established 45 years ago to help minority entrepreneurs succeed. And our mission stays the same as it was 45 years ago, because what we believe in is creating an economic base in communities of color so that minority communities, people of color, can thrive within the system that we have. And we're not going to do that unless we have economic opportunities. Minority businesses hire more minorities than anyone else. And so the fact of the matter is that we've done studies over the last 20 years of our Meda clients, and over 50% of the people working in minority firms are people of color. And so if we're going to change the economic dynamics that occur in communities of color, we have to grow our own businesses, because it's the businesses that really are creating the jobs. So Meda works with businesses that are about $1 million or more in revenue. We work with some startups as well, but for the most part, we're trying to get at scale and we're trying to get at jobs. So some of the companies that we've worked with, for example, the Latino woman runs a company that makes all of the tortillas in McDonald's in the country.
What? There's one person
and it's actually her grandmother's recipe. So when you go into McDonald's and eat a tortilla, you're getting her grandmother's recipe. And she started off selling her tortillas door to door. African-American that bought an elevator company, and he's building elevators all over the world. And as a matter of fact, and he went back and moved his company back into the Black community. And then he has hired African Americans that have gotten out of prison, about 30 of them, and he has not lost one in a year or two that he's been doing this. So this is all about reaching back and teaching, and reaching back and using, as Marian Wright Edelman would say, using the power, the privilege, and the influence that we gather as the rent that we all pay, because we all have to give back. And so what we find among minority entrepreneurs is that they actually reach back and help others because they're of and part of the community. So many people don't know this, but there was a study out of the University of Washington. William Bransford is the professor's name. He's an economics professor there. He did a study looking at 10 years of income data for white families and black families. And what he found was that those families that had entrepreneurs actually closed the wealth gap for African Americans. So if you were an entrepreneur, if you were working for somebody else, big gap remained. If you were an entrepreneur, your rate of increase actually went up as the same level of whites. If you, another guy, Robert Farley, who does a lot of the work on entrepreneurship nationally for the Minority Business Development Agency, he did a report that showed that if the average net assets, and this was back in 2008, for Black and Latino families, about $10,000, $11,000. The average assets, let me say that again, for a Black family in 2008 was $10,000. The average asset for Latinos was about $11,000. If you added an entrepreneur to the Black family, that family's income or assets went up by 600%. To about $70,000.
Wow.
So this issue of entrepreneurship is like the every person of color in America should think about being an entrepreneur. And I know that's hard for people to say, oh, well, I can't do that. But the reality of it is many people are doing that and succeeding. Some fail, right? So there's a failure rate. But you know what? If you're not doing that, then you're really going to stay kind of stuck. And so we need to think about entrepreneurship as a way for us to actually get some economic power over our families and our community, because then you're not dependent on somebody else, whether they create a job or not. You're actually dependent on yourself. So I mean, it's not a panacea. I just want to say that to be clear, but it certainly is part of the equation that we need as a community.
And there's always going to be, this is Dedrick real quick, there's always going to be, those of us in different parts of our lives who are more ready to, engage and enter into that entrepreneurship piece. And then those who are kind of learning the skills and building up the opportunity and maybe some of the savings to actually more jump into this space. But I just want to let you, Pam, go ahead and follow up the next question.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you make a really, really important point in that people should consider entrepreneurship as an option, whether or not you end up being an entrepreneur, a lifelong entrepreneur. The fact is we were never taught that this was something we could do. So how did you get involved in all this, Gary? What's your background? You just told us that you used to run a radio show called Urban Concerns. Woo.
I did. I told you I was a community organizer in Brooklyn too, and in Detroit. Well, that's a longer story, and I don't want to bore people to death. Just say, I grew up in a family that actually social justice was at the center of what we did, and what we, and so it was kind of bred into me to be involved with making a difference for my community. I've been a county administrator, and I've been an associate superintendent of schools, and I was a fellow at the Humphrey School at the University of Minnesota for some time. Most of my career has been spent thinking about and working on how do we make a difference for low-income people of color, and then how do we not only get them to earn money but grow it and keep it. Because it's one thing just to, I've seen, when I was the deputy director of civil rights for the city of Minneapolis, one of the things that I saw, we'd get people jobs, but they'd still remain poor.
Yes.
Because they never really figured out how to manage their resources that they got. And so they'd go out and blow it or whatever. And so that experience when I was younger really started making me think about, well, how do we think about our participation in the financial systems? How do we think about what is our role in that? And then, what do we think about money?
Yeah.
And how does money used as a tool to actually better our lives and our fortunes, et cetera? And so I started working on that. I was a former, and where I met Dedrick, I was the vice president of the Northwest Area Foundation, which is a regional foundation that works on asset building for low-income people. And I was doing a number of projects, one of which was looking at African-American financial capability. and Dedrick was working at the NAACP.
That's right. Yep.
And I was also working with CFED. So
wow.
all this came together in a project that we actually
Gary
kicked off.
first connected me to CFED and kind of created this bridge over here. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're here because of you, Gary.
I love all the alphabet soup going on. I also wanted to clarify. Did you say that you started out as a member of the NWAF?
No, the
Wait.
Northwest
Area?
NWA.
Northwest Area Foundation. I didn't start there. I just left there actually like
A couple years ago.
couple years
Oh,
ago.
wow,
But-
okay.
But I've been
But NWA isn't that title, but it's a different
Different NWA dialect.
versus other things and attitudes.
I caught that. I was like, no, he did not.
Of course he
No, he
did.
did not.
Just checking, in case you're like,
So that's, that's pretty much what I've done. I mean, right now I'm working, we just finished a report, the African American Leadership Forum, which is a group of African Americans that are working to come together to say, what is it that we do to change the trajectory of our community? And so it's both African American professionals, people at the grassroots, tops, and we've been working for the last number of years to actually try to focus on us controlling our destiny and where we're going, as opposed to other people coming in and saying, here's how we think you guys should be operating, and et cetera. And so we actually just finished a report, what we call a community of practice, which where a number of nonprofit organizations got together and said, how do we increase the financial capability of African Americans?
So
And
how?
Dedrick has a copy of the report.
Yeah.
It's called The Black Paper. And it really is about Black folk. And it really is about us looking at how we actually build community. So now we're working right now to focus on 300 African Americans. So because we really want to create a tipping point where all of them rise up and get on the great financial path, get
And are they
economic
all-
security.
Are they
et
all
cetera. So-
entrepreneurs, or are they three? How did you select these? How did you select these 300 African Americans?
Based on we are creating an intake system so that anyone that wants to be a part can be a part of that program. So we're not picking and choosing. We're actually saying, here's a door that you can go through, and we're labeling the opportunities that come with going through that door.
And are they all entrepreneurs, as was?
No.
Okay.
They're different people, different walks of life. Meda's part of it is focused on the entrepreneurship part. We have another organization called Neon that is actually working with the startups in that space. But if you come into the door and you sign up, you actually get a lot of support for trying to develop your idea, whatever idea you have around going into businesses. And we all have ideas.
Yes.
We all have aspirations. We all have hopes, both for ourselves and our families and our communities. And so what we want to do is tap into that and say, okay, here's the steps you need to take, and then surround you with both love and support and opportunity so that you can get there. Because we know many of the people in our community have great potential. In fact, there's so much genius that's left on the table because they don't have access to opportunity in the same way that everyone else does.
So much genius is left on the table. Ugh, we got to go to a song because it's so true. You're so right. So let's roll to a song and everybody leave that.
Wait.
Yes.
I mean, come on. Our guest has been dropping all these bars. Can he just do the song?
I know, right? Can you just freestyle for us for the next 3 minutes?
Drop a beat. and you just go
Don't
in
do
and
that
be
to
ready.
Gary.
Do what to Gary? I'm worried about what Gary's going to do to them beats.
Oh my God.
We are going to play some music for you. I got some great new uplifting music. First of all, we got Brooklyn's own lifelong living in full effect with Glasgow's own Bunty Beats. We got a cross trends in the watery connection, and they got their song Climbing Up featuring King R.A. and Paro, and we will check you in a minute. Bonfire Radio.
life stuck, system got us fucked. Shit out of luck. Hustle to survive, 4 pounds and bucks. Struggling on crumbling ground, climbing up.
We at a standstill against oppressors up a hand will. They one standing behind unlawful laws and bills. Wolves posing as sheep, selling lies to people. Blind-minded people, deaf, dumb to the evil. Which verse more? Economics got the public unequal. Wherever you are, the truth ain't that far. It's all about the stash adding up inside money jars. Draw your eyes and leave them open wide. Set to your vision on what's going on worldwide. The time's ticking like never before. Revolving door, how one thing leaves yet returns for more. Until problems standing deep in the corridor, stuck trying to escape this hallway tight maze. Thinking about the last time I seen better days. Memories blotted out from clouds of haze. Through the darkest days, steady climbing up towards the sun rays.
Living life stuck, system got us fucked. Shit out of luck. Hustle to survive, 4 pounds and bucks. Struggling on crumbling ground, climbing up. Living life stuck, system got us fucked. Shit out of luck. Hustle to survive, 4 pounds and bucks. Struggling on crumbling ground, climbing up.
I'm getting bored of collecting crumbs. Money spent, no extra funds. Dyslexic bum, drop my shit like metric tons. I'm set with nuns on connected drums, but left with negative sums, cause my flex is dumb. I've got a blurred vision, but I'm still aiming ahead. We've been swimming upstream since that race to the egg. I've been beaten up, stolen off and maced by the feds, just for chasing the bread to pay for a place with a bed. So naturally I'm a bit bitter, my pocket's not a bit thicker. Sat in the pit sipping some shit liquor. What politicians with 6 figures get rich quicker and dip fingers into our wages like we're big tippers. Nitpicking your tax bills, their chats filled with stats still. The fact is that these cats steal a lot more than the grass still when cash spills over into all of their back pockets, and that's real.
Living life stuck, system got us fucked. Shit out of luck. Hustle to survive, 4 pounds and bucks. Struggling on crumbling ground, climbing up. Living life stuck, system got us fucked. Shit out of luck. Hustle to survive, 4 pounds and bucks. Struggling on crumbling ground, climbing up.
Caught in between a rock and a hard place. Abandoned in barrens of wastelands, lost in space. Moving slow in this paper chase rat race. It's all about hustling at a fast pace. No time to sleep, we all nighters hitting streets. Running to catch up, but bills got us beat. Struggle, hustle just to make ends meet. Rent due, trying to get through the week. Check to check, living extorted by the system. 8 hours put in, but less money given. That's the cost of earning, working honest living. Walking on shady paths, avoiding roads to prison. Unemployed, helpless, without a pot to piss in. Quick cash traps for the less fortunate victims. Drug transactions gone down in front the building. Hustling, surviving by any means to feed children. Why most do dirt, one of the main reasons. Struggling in extreme situations, climbing up to keep breathing.
Living life stuck, system got us fucked. Shit out of luck. Hustle to survive, 4 pounds and bucks. Struggling on crumbling ground, climbing up. Living life stuck, system got us fucked. Shit out of luck. Hustle to survive, 4 pounds and bucks. Struggling on crumbling ground, climbing up.
And we are back. Brunch and Budget, Bonfire Radio. That was the homie Lifelong out of the Stronghold Crew and Bunty Beats out of Scotland. I can't do a good Scottish accent. I'm not even going to try. I always want to. The brogue seems so fun, but you know, I understand that cultural appropriation is not as enjoyable as it seems like it's going to be.
Right.
So anyway, Lifelong, Bunty Beats, climbing up. We've got a CFED show.
Yes.
So that means we have more awesome people telling us crazy things going on in the country.
Yes, so we are here with Dedrick Asante-Muhammad, the director of the Racial Wealth Divide Initiative at CFED, and he has brought us Gary Cunningham, the president and CEO of Meda, which basically provides opportunities for minority entrepreneurs in Minnesota to basically be successful entrepreneurs, create more jobs, create an economic system for people of color and specifically the African American community.
Well, that's the real thing is creating economic systems. So many programs that are supposed to help economically or even socially.
Our mics are
mics are fine.
Okay.
So that's okay. We had
Sorry.
I had a
little glitch in my brain.
Yeah, we had a little technical difficulties with Pam there a second, but
Just want to correct. Can I correct something?
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
please correct
please,
something because
please. I
we're just lying
we
about
actually
y'all.
serve all people of color.
Oh, okay.
We serve Asian, Native American, Latino,
Ah, okay.
African American.
Just like that woman that made the tortillas for
Oh,
McDonald's.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in fact, last year, I'll give you another little story. Last year, one of our, she's now on our board, Elise Hernandez is her name. She won the top Minority Business Enterprise of the Year from the U.S. Department of Commerce. She bid on and got part of a $20 billion contract with the federal government. She is the first Latino woman in the history of America to receive that level of a contract with the federal government.
What?
Yeah, that's a big contract.
Wow.
Yeah, well, she only got a part of the 20 billion, so she didn't get all the 20. She didn't get all the 20 billion, but she actually outbid folks like AT&T, and, folks like some of the big companies. And she is now a very successful businesswoman, Ideal System Solution. And she started off on welfare. Her family grew up on welfare and is now hiring people all over the country to provide IT services. So these are just stories, right? But they're true stories of entrepreneurs that she started doing her graduate work. Her idea was this business, and she used that to write her graduate theses. And now she's a successful businesswoman in her own right. One of the women that is from Brazil that is on our board runs a marketing company that's doing marketing for many Fortune 500 companies and has become a huge success. So, I mean, these things can happen.
Yes.
Right? Or the Asian scientist that developed a particular heart medication that went through trade. So I mean, this stuff just goes on and on.
That's so amazing.
What you see is like key practices that that people have, particularly people of color, have been doing, or are you seeing across businesses that have helped because we know that minority entrepreneurship is important. We also know that it's a struggle and it's challenging oftentimes because of lack of capitalization, these types of things. So, what practices have you seen that have helped people overcome some of those challenges?
Well, I think first, people are willing to put in and make some sacrifices and put in the time, energy, and effort to get their business to the next level. One, they never give up. Meaning, if you talk to some of these entrepreneurs, they are all over it. And no matter what you tell them, they are actually, I'm continuing. I am not going to give up no matter what anybody says. Three, I think they actually have learned to listen. So even though I just said that they won't give up, they actually come in and get advice and consultation, and they actually follow the advice. So we get some entrepreneurs in that they know so much that we can't help them. Get some in that actually listen to sound sage advice, and they're able to change some of the things that they were doing. So this is all built on habits, right? I'm sure you talk to your clients about it like that. This is all about habits. If you got a habit of not getting up every day, not focus on anything, you're not going to probably get too far. But what they do is they have a single-minded obsession, a burning desire to see something happen. They know they have a value added, and I know you're going to ask me to explain that, but they have a value added proposition that they're putting on the table. So what I mean by that is they have something of value that other people want, and they use that something of value to exchange it for money. Does everybody follow me on that?
Yes,
right?
yes. So how did they get to that point? Because I feel like I think people are kind of waiting to wake up and just have that idea be there, and then everything else will fall into place.
Yeah, people are waiting for that idea.
People are waiting for that value proposition that just comes to them in the middle of the night, and I don't think that's how it happens.
Well, I imagine it happens for some people like that. So I wouldn't put that all out of the realm of possibility. But for most people, they actually have done some research. They kind of do some analysis about what the market is in a particular area that they're interested in. And then they actually, if they don't understand what's going on in that marketplace, they're going to lose. Right. So trying to do some of that background research to say, oh, here are the various businesses that I could get in. Here are the ones that are making money. Here are the ones that are not. I'd say don't go into those.
Right. Go where the money is.
but so it is actually looking at a niche in the market, something that's missing, right? That other people aren't providing, and then getting in there and providing that in that space. And you might have to start off small, right? Some people start off developing a prototype of their idea. So they'll get some money, just a little bit of money, and they'll do a design, or they'll do a mock-up of their design. And then they got something to show people about what they're trying to do. Other people that are in kind of the service industry, and that's where a lot of people of color are playing because of other areas that take huge barriers to entry. So if you're going to be in a manufacturing plant, right, like I told you about the woman earlier, that takes a lot of investment, right? Because you got to build your plant, and you got to, hire, it just takes a lot. You got to have all your ingredients and all of that stuff. And then you got to have markets to sell to, right? Because then you've taken out a lot of debt.
Right.
And so, people of color in general have a weird relationship with debt, right? Because we don't want to use debt, but debt is a tool that you use to get to the next level in your business, right?
Yes.
If you're going into debt and then paying your bills, that's not a good debt, right? I mean, that basically you're not going to get ahead with that type of debt. But the whole structure of America
is built on
the whole
debt.
structure is built on using other people's money.
OPM, baby.
OPM.
That's right. And so the question is, if you think you've got a niche of a marketplace that you can get in, or you have some skills that you can sell, right? Then you have to test that, right? You can go online and you can get what they call a business canvas. So all you have to do is look up the term business canvas.
Yes, we have seen those before. Yeah. And just build
you go
out your
online
idea.
and just do, they'll have a video, 5-minute video, right? And then there's absolutely apps. There's business canvas apps. You can actually go on your iPhone.
Yes.
Right? I'd say if somebody's really serious, they'll get a business canvas app. And then they'll walk through the steps of doing a business canvas as a first step to see if they have an idea that has some merit. It will help them think about, who are their customers? What is the value proposition that they're offering? What is their cost model? Right? Where they're going to get the revenue from? So it helps you think that through, right, in a way that starts making sense for your business. And that's just like a first step. Get a business canvas, look at it, and then sit down for an hour or two and go through it. Right. If you're not willing to put an hour or two in, you really are not interested in really being in business. Right?
Everybody has an hour or two. It's so true. And one thing that I love about the business canvas too, we'll add that in the show notes on resources on where to get it, is it's not like you have to write a 20-page business plan to start a business idea. And I think that's also where people tend to get stuck, is I need to have every single aspect thought out. I need to have some kind of slide deck, and I need to have all my financials, when the business canvas is literally just one page with a set of questions that walk you through all of the high-level stuff about a potential business idea.
Talk about barriers to entry. I think that that whole you need a 9 million page business plan thing is a barrier to entry in of itself. And I feel like it's on purpose, because if it sounds like it's daunting because it's like, oh, that's too much work, I can't do it, then you're not going to start your business. Or if you're ready to start your business, here's a bunch of busy work for you to find yourself digging into and rewriting it. You know how many people you talk to and they're like, oh yeah, I just got to, edit my business plan. Like, no, just
start your business.
Start your business, man.
Just try the idea, test it out.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the business, I would argue. I think there has been put a lot of emphasis on these big tomes that nobody actually reads, that are these business plans. We actually don't do it that way at Meda. We actually don't ask people to do a business plan. We sit down and talk with them, and we sit down and talk them through what their idea is, what they're trying to do, etc. And then we actually will evaluate that, and we'll give you the straight skinny. You're either red, you shouldn't move forward with this. You're yellow, you need to do some more work, or you're green, and hey, let's join hands and see how we can help you.
And the people coming to you, you say you oftentimes work with businesses that $1 million or more. So assuming people coming to you aren't coming with their first idea and are starting a micro entrepreneurship piece, but
we get those folks too. So we've been working on something pretty unique at Meda, and that is we're working with the whole ecosystem of minority business support. So that what we're really focused on is having products and services along each line of the business life cycle. So if you're a startup, you need certain things. We may not be able to provide it, but Latino Economic Development Center might, or African Development Center might be able to provide that, or the Neighborhood Development Center. All of these are nonprofits that are working in this space. And the way the system's been set up historically is to have us kind of being frenemies, not right. We're not really working together for the interests of this minority customer or this minority business, right? We're trying to differentiate ourselves in the marketplace. So we've really started working in partnership with these other organizations so that we can serve minority entrepreneurs at each stage of the business life cycle. Because again, if you're in the second stage of your business, you're already past the startup phase. You need a different set of, it's just like go to the doctor, okay, I'm sick. The doctor's going to give you a prescription probably, and then tell you to do something for a certain period of time, take these pills for this length of time, right? Well, if you're really smart and you take that, you think you're really smart and you'd only take half the medication, right? Then you're really not going to get well, right? So it's just like that. You need a certain amount of things at different stages. So some people need money. Most of the folks come to us think they need money, right? And they may need money at some point, but if you've got like credit card debt, or you don't have your personal finances in order, right? And you got a credit rating of 600 or 300 or whatever it is, you're not probably gonna do very well in your business, right? Because you've got some habits that you got to clean up. Bad habits about how you're spending your money. So how you're managing your personal finances actually translate in how you manage your business finances. Right? So even if you have $1 billion in revenue, people think that's a lot. It's really not.
Right.
But even if you have $1 million in revenue from your business, right, and you owe 20% on a credit card that you're paying off, you're taking money in, but you're giving it all away to somebody else.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we see businesses like that all the time. So we actually help them refinance their debt. Right? We get in there and help them actually think through. We do their financial projections with them, right? So, okay, well, where are you going to get all the money from to keep your business running and pay your employees? We help them with their marketing. We help them with their strategic plan, right? So they sit down and think strategically about how they're going to position themselves in the market. Who are all the competitors in the market? Well, how do they get in a niche? We help them then open up network opportunities or market opportunities. So we actually sit down with them, and we might open up an opportunity for them, or we might work with them to put together a response to an RFP with a government agency.
Request for
right?
proposal.
So a lot of people don't know. There's a lot of paperwork.
Yep.
So we've helped people get at the airport, as an example. So Minneapolis, the guy that does all the gift shops in the airport in Minneapolis, is an African-American man.
Wow, those are the kinds of things that we don't
So when you go in there and you're buying something, you're
Yep.
actually helping minority, but nobody knows he's a person of color, right?
That's so cool.
Or we help the Somali person that has the company that takes ill people to the doctor, and he has a multi-million-dollar business that he and his wife run that basically is making sure that mostly Somali people are getting to the doctor on time and taking care. So he's doing a social good at the same time that he's making money, right? So, so he found a niche, right?
Yeah.
There's all these niches. niches out here in America that are unfilled that people of color actually can come in and play a role. A lot of times we think about businesses of color, we think about a storefront,
right?
You know, a grocery store,
laundromat,
that kind of thing.
Yep.
That is not where most of the minority businesses are.
Wow.
Most of them are in what they call B2B,
business to business,
business to business services, and they're providing staffing support, right? They're providing marketing help. They're providing event planning. They're providing, I mean, I could go on down the list. They're providing IT services. Right. So we just built this big stadium in Minneapolis called the U.S. Bank Stadium. And I'm not much into sports financing, kind of ugly. But most of the technology in that new stadium was of minority people that got together and said, we can't build on any of this alone, but we could do it together. And they bid on it and they won the bid. So when you walk in there, people don't know all of the technology in that building, from the TV, the big screens, to the speakers, and to the computers, are all done by minority people.
That is so cool. So
right?
what do you think?
We're doing all of this. So.
That's amazing. So what do you think is one of the biggest obstacles that you find entrepreneurs of color have in terms of getting from that, like, the business idea is working, the business is working, and now I need to get to the next level and scale this? What ends up, stopping people from taking it to that next level?
Yeah, well, we are actually creating a program for second and third stage business, but we call that second and third stage. Most businesses, many of them start off really well, and they start skyrocketing, and then they hit a wall, and they get stuck, right? And they get stuck because what they did before doesn't work anymore, right? And their original idea just got them to a certain point, but now they got to get to the next level. And so what we've been doing is working with them on their own behavior, because they've got to change, right? So we find this in many family-run businesses. The family, it gets to a certain point, and then decisions have to be made, and people can't make the decisions. Or they need to scout out new markets. The old market has got them to some level, and then they need to figure out where the new markets are, right? Or they need capital. They may need to do a merger or acquisition of another business in order to grow. So there's different things that they may need to grow depending on where their business is at, but they get stuck, right? So we're going to be doing an 18-week program where you actually have to come in 18 weeks and work with us on how you're going to get your business to the next level. So many people are do-it-yourselfers. These are things that get you stuck.
Definitely. Right? You're like, I can do everything. I've been doing everything. Yeah.
Right. And then now you've got to hand it off to somebody. You've never done HR.
Which is,
you don't know
tough and
about
scary.
human resources, right? Yeah. You don't even know how to hire people.
Right. You've been hiring your family members. Yeah.
Right. Cousin Vinny or Abdul, cousin Abdul, everybody puts up with this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, right, you end up with these kind of things that are problematic for you to get to the next level. In your business. So you got to change, right? So you're the biggest barrier to the growth of your business.
Right. How can an entrepreneur recognize that in themselves, where it's something where they're stuck and they need help getting to the next level versus, they just need to keep pushing?
Or they're doing the wrong thing and need to stop.
Right. Like, how does an entrepreneur stop and recognize that?
Yeah, well, if they're losing money, that's a good sign.
Okay.
There you go. You got 100. Look at the economics, right? If it's not paying off, you're doing it wrong.
Yep.
So that's one good sign. I think most of the businesses that we see at that second stage know they're stuck. Right, so it's not like a revelation that they're stuck, or but they don't really know what to do about it. Right, they don't know what level to go to, or how to reach out and get to that next level, and they haven't thought about it systematically. It's kind of an emotional response sometimes, right? Or it's they're working themselves to death, and they don't see any space in their horizon.
Right. No
so they
change.
Won't take the time. It's there's an old parable about the man who didn't sharpen his saw. So you can work till you're burnt out.
Yep.
And if you and so the guy says, well, I'm going to just keep sawing because, you know, I won't be getting it done. And that sawing ends up, he can't cut as many cords of wood because he's got a dull blade. So you actually have to stop.
You just take some time out.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
Build
You have to
infrastructure.
stop. You have to
Sharpen the
grease
saw.
up, sharpen your saw. You have to get some advice from external people. A lot of times what we do with folks is help them get an advisory board. Right? So these are people. So we work with a lot of corporations and a lot of mid-sized businesses. These folks are waiting to come back and help others.
Yeah.
And so that advisory board gives them sound advice that helps them get to this. So a lot of times we're, you know, in this rugged individualist society, we think we can do it all ourselves and it's all individual effort. But in reality, none of us have got here on our own. We all had to depend on other people to get here, wherever you're at. And so the idea that there's going to be some other people that can give you some advice. Now, again, if you're somebody that doesn't listen to others,
Right.
it's going to be hard for you to move ahead, especially with people that have years of experience in the particular business you're in. Right. And, you know, you're going to plow new ground that you might be able to do that, but that's probably a harder way to go. You know, it's just like plowing a field. And you're in New York, so you wouldn't know anything about plowing.
There's no fields here. We barely have parking lots.
This won't work for you guys. You know, if you have soil that is never been plowed before, right? It's harder than soil that's been plowed before, right? So if you want to go on the path of trying to do it yourself, and you're not getting the kind of technical expertise and advice, there's people in your particular field, I'm speaking to your audience now, that probably are retired or people that are successful and want to help other people. Go to them, ask for their advice. And all the time, I haven't seen one time a person actually say, I don't want anything to do with you.
Right.
Right. People actually, we are, you know, as human beings, we are all on this journey. And I can't tell you the times that people have come out of nowhere to help me along my journey. Right. And they're like, wow, that person really gave of themselves to me. And we all have stories like that, but we forget when we get in our little space of I got to get the thing done. We forget that these people are out here. So I think that would be one of the key things that I would say to a second. If you're stuck in your business, go get some help and support. There are minority business development centers in each of our communities. There's 40 of them throughout the country. There's definitely one in New York. People can go to the Minority Business Center in their area. You can go to the Minority Business Development Agency's website, right? Which is
Minority
just
Business
look up
Development
that
Agency.
on the web, and you can get the center in your area. You can go to that center. They may not be able to help you, but they'll get you to a place where you can get help, right? And so there's help.
I love it. All right, we're going to go to a song so everybody can look all that up.
Well, and
I want to look that up right now.
And let all that settle in.
Let all that settle. Whew.
No, it's really important that we're able to assess and we're able to listen to others in our community and niche down. And I mean, you're saying all the things that we've been trying to piecemeal say for a couple of years here on Bonfire.
So everybody just listen to this one show.
Yeah, listen to this guy. Look, you guys, there is no such thing as DIY. You're never doing anything yourself. And I think we're often socialized to do DIY, to do it all yourself,
because
you're the only one you can. That's the rhetoric. You're
Yeah.
the only one you can trust, and don't let anybody put in. If people tell you your business is doing wrong, they're just haters and they're jealous. And don't be. But no, listen to people. 'Cause
Yes.
people have thoughts and they're here with you. Right? I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
We are on the interest of that, we're going to take it to some of our Bonfire family. This is the homie Baldy from the Props to Hip Hop crew, and he's got a song called Upon a Star. We'll catch you in a minute. Brunch and Budget, Bonfire Radio.
You can make of yourself anything you want. It's up to you. A man has a choice. That's where he's different from an animal.
I wish you wins and losses, joy amid the process. I wish you sight to see the light through dim objects. I hope you find your own emotion. I hope you stay off from the fray to find the message from commotion. it ain't always your first notion. I wish you the ability to stay omnisciently known. Cause man, people say the darndest things. If you take them at the word, you'll find you're banished from hoping for dreams. It's never really quite what it seems. I wish you energy to find where it connects at the seams. Cause the fabric sets the tone for the beings. And understanding that's the knowledge most spiritually freeing. Oh, may the Lord help him. Believe him the ability to find his own ethics and meanings. Otherwise, what's the purpose of breeding? I wish you the ability to understand what you're reading. I mean, really, hope there's nothing impeding. That all wires lead to the top to give life through their feet. Truth is, if it pumps, you're succeeding. Cause we're sweating and bleeding for wishes that we believe in. I used to wish upon a star what I wish upon you now. More than ever, I just wish it come true now. I'll leave this wish here in a booth. I hope to prove a good wish it could do. I wish you nothing but the baby blue skies and cool nights where things don't go as planned, but they go right. I wish you a partner in crime and in the low light. I wish you infinite time to get to know life. I wish you strength and instincts to guide your might, and that your spirit, mind, soul all grow right. I wish you evenings that dawn with peace, mornings that rise with the vigor of desire to love and seek. I wish you vision from valleys and peaks. There's no tally to keep, but always rally in heat. Cause the world can't keep you down. That's why you're crowned as the best damn thing that I could ever have found. I ain't nervous, I don't sweat it, I'm just honored and proud. Any forum, any stage, and I'ma say it out loud. Your feet won't fail you now. I wish you strength as you stand tall. Never try to follow the crowd. Never stop and bother with cowards. Keep your mind on being you and you'll find infinite power. Keep your mind on being you and silence all of the doubt. I dish it out just so you know what I'm wishing about. I used to wish upon a star what I wish upon you now. More than ever, I just wish it come true now. I'll leave this wish here in a booth. I hope to prove a good wish it could do. This is what I wish, this is what I wanna see. This is where the fine line mixes with the mind's tea. If you disagree, cool, please don't mind me. I'm just wishing you a journey that was wished upon me. Not a journey that's completely grind-free, but a journey of the mind unconditionally, like a traditional G. Three-piece class with a creased soul, right living, extra strength to the knees.
What are you going to do now?
I was going to go upstairs for a minute.
Oh, I meant with your future.
It's a great big colorful world out there. Everything's got a color that this can wear. You see red and orange and green and blue. There's yellow, pink, and...
And we are back. Brunch and Budget, Bonfire Radio. That was Baldy. That song got weird at the end.
It did get weird.
He like sampled some child's thing. Well, he's a dad now, and his new record, I don't know if you know this, is mostly about him being a dad. And it's not dad rap like dad rap. It don't... That's what everybody was accusing the new Atmosphere record. Speaking of Minnesota, they were saying that Slug, since he's older now, is doing dad rap. Aww. But no, Baldy is a dad, and he's a dad rapping, but...
Not
I think I could do a grandpa rap.
Grandpa rap.
Yo, shout out to all. We just had our International Women's Day. Shout out to all our grandma MCs out there.
Yeah.
No, you have a funny look on your face. But I was watching one of my favorite MCs ever, Yesterday the Night Queen. She was up on stage rocking, dope ass lady MC, and I shouted out a verse I wanted her to kick because I'm a fan since I was young. And she was like, "Oh man, I don't know if I remember it." And from the side of the stage, her grown daughter holding her granddaughter in her arms started kicking the verse, and she was like, "Oh, now I remember," and did it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Grandparent rap's a thing too.
Grandparent raps are a thing. So just to let you know, if someone comes to you with that idea, you can advise them that is a viable option.
It's a viable product.
My
There's a niche.
grandchildren would be totally embarrassed if Grandpa was rapping. Just to let you know.
Oh, that's why you want to do it.
Maybe that should be a business. I should come to you with my business. How to embarrass your family members through rap.
I didn't know there was money in that. I didn't know
there is always money in embarrassment.
Wow, that's so real.
I'm saying though.
That's so real. So I wanted to actually go back. Minority business enterprise. That's something that we've mentioned a couple times, and I kind of want to get a definition on what that is and what kinds of benefits and what kinds of access minority business owners can have by having that designation.
Yeah, well, so there is a system in the state, federal, and local government around what they call disadvantaged businesses, DBEs, disadvantaged business enterprise, minority business enterprises and women business enterprises, veterans businesses, and LGBTQ businesses actually fit into many of these definitions. So if you're at the local level, you might have all of those. At the federal level, it's really veterans, people of color, women primarily that fit into these categories. And then you get, theoretically, some of these programs work better than others across the country. Some don't work very well at all, although they say they have programs. But you theoretically, you might get a preference because you've been historically denied opportunity within these public procurement systems.
Got you.
On the corporate side, they have a group called the Minority Business Development, and it's MSDC, Minority Business Supplier Diversity Council, and they provide support to certify minority and women businesses for consideration to do business with corporations. So a corporation will say, set aside so much of their money, what they call minority spend. So there's these things called $1 billion round tables and others where corporations have got together and say, we want to spend $1 billion with the minority community.
Okay.
So getting certified by MSDC is important if you're going to be in those circles, because they won't do business with you as a minority business unless you've been certified by MSDC.
Gotcha.
So this is kind of the framework that we've been working under. 50 years ago, this was established in the governmental sector, and they do disparity studies now because the courts have said that you can't have a tailored remedy by race unless you're able to determine that there's discrimination.
Right.
So that's why the state does it, or the city or whomever does a disparity study. But what I found interesting is that even though these systems have been in place for 50 years, many of them are not working for people of color. Right. And so many of them are very, they say they do X, Y, and Z. So in Minnesota, the state of Minnesota did a study. They spent in 2014 about $1.7 billion. They did about $136,000 in business with Black-owned businesses.
How much again?
$136,000.
Yeah.
So that program isn't working very well. Now, the governor, to his credit, has done some things to try to change that. But these are deep-end systemic systems that have been operating the way they've been operating because they're benefiting someone. And then
they're not benefiting others.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so, in order to change that, I think some of the activists and some of the advocates, and I know you wanted me to talk about the advocacy report that we did, but some of the advocates have taken on these systems and actually have kind of forced some change because they've been able to stand up to power. I'm the chair of the Association of Black Foundation Executives. We've been working with a group of foundations to think about how do we fund Black advocacy. So these are the folks that are in the streets making a difference. And so we actually put together a report to actually talk to foundations about, and Nate Williams is the person that's really been pushing this. So I don't want to take any credit for his work, and Susan Taylor Batten, who's the president of APFE, the Association of Black Foundation Executives. But they've really been focused on, one, how do we build the capacity of these organizations? Because in the communities of color in general, and in the Black community more specifically, the capacity to do all the things that an advocacy organization has to do in order to make an impact on public policy is pretty huge. It's not just being on the street, advocating, right? It's writing policy papers. It's talking to legislators and people, because after people have been on the street, there needs to be some action, right? To follow up in order to make something happen. And so how do you do that if the funding for these organizations is meager, and there's not a clear agreement on we're going to support Black Lives Matter, or we're going to support some of the local groups that are working on this stuff. And if we don't support it, then our democracy is going to suffer, because this is really about democracy and how democracy works, right? And if we don't have folks that are willing to volunteer and to step out and to do these things, our democracy isn't working. If young men and women get shot in the streets by the police, then our democracy isn't working without any kind of consequences. Right. And those consequences get generated because advocates in the community are doing stuff. See, now I'm getting back to my roots. Right. But that's what that report is about. And it's online. I'm very proud of that work that folks have done, because, we need to stand up, and we need to stand up together to address some of this systematic discrimination and systematic treatment of people of color within our communities.
So, yes, it's interesting how you just weave together your social justice interests from the beginning to focus on entrepreneurship, and how you continue to kind of focus in on this social justice piece. So,
yeah. And the report is called The Case for Funding Black-Led Social Change. We'll definitely add that to the show notes too, because the reality is advocacy does cost money. And we have to figure out how to give people that platform to be able to do that and still be able to have a life.
Right. I wrote a paper for Foundation Review last year or 2 years ago, and I found out some interesting things. So the foundation money going to people of color, organizations of color, has went down every year for the last 10 years. Oh yeah. And I found out something else interesting. So back in the civil rights movement, many of the big foundations like Ford and Field and others funded the civil rights movement. But then when it started to get, when the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee and others, the Black Power came into being, they basically stopped funding those organizations that were really pushing change and put their money in more conservative Black organizations. So these foundations, which I'm a part of actually, played a huge role in the social change movement in our country. And today, but because they can be conservative, because whose money it is. Right. It creates some dynamics of them being able to pull money in and out that changes the nature of the movement.
Right.
So we need to be, I didn't know that, right? I was like kind of naive about it until I really started doing the research and found out, oh my God, they reshaped the movement in certain ways by how they gave out money, right?
Yeah.
So we cognizant of these things.
Yeah, absolutely. That feels like a whole other show. We are unfortunately out of time.
Yeah, that is.
We got to have you back on for that.
Yeah, I want to hear that part. I'm mad we have to record a different interview after this.
I know.
I just want to
keep talking.
Well, I mean, man, this is all such really important stuff, and it's great to have this coming from different angles. We talk about this all the time. It's really easy to stay in the same place and fight the good fight,
right?
And have the program that, like, we're about good things, but not making demonstrable change.
Yeah,
it's
and not making systemic change.
Well, because it's easy to fund, it's easy to get a photo op, it's easy to do all those types of things, and it's a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of help to actually make real change. You need to ask the people in your community. You need to find advisors.
Yes.
Right.
So thank you so much, Gary, for joining us.
Thank you, enjoyed
Dedrick.
both of you. Wow, what a great group.
Wow. Thank you. We're big fans.
We're big fans. All right. I love it. All right. Gary Cunningham of Meda. And I'll let Dialect take us out.
Yeah, please, Meda at Meda as much as possible. Join it. Ask them questions. If you have stuff to give back, give it back. If you ain't got nothing to give back yet, get some stuff so you can give it back. And we're going to leave you with Living Alive by Foreign Aid. Because, sometimes we can't get help from our state, so we got to ask somebody else. Anyway, we'll check you next week. Brunch and Budget, Bonfire Radio. Peace.
Living life ride up and down the avenue. Many will misconstrue my wishes, but the flow been looking vicious. Go piranha in an ocean full of fishes. Burn some bridges, swing katanas on these skinny jean cabanas. Prima donnas with the diva drama, schema trauma when I bomb them. Come over, side 'em, setting fire to the stage. Put these liars in a cage, never pious of the age. They say God is living and the proof is in the pudding. Keep on looking, got you choosing everything you should. Enjoy your own conclusions. Let your heart out, avoid pollution. If it doesn't touch your soul, then what the hell you doing? You do it hell exact, so bring it back, get on track. It'll leave you busting blackjack. You should unpack, stay a second. Every minute's Kodak, everything's a blowback. The CIA control that. Loose interpretations trying to boost the separation. And these corporations all alive like a constellation. It's a ruthless combination, but with lofty aspirations. I ain't got no time for wasting. Dreams chasing got me feeling like yo, we living alive. Yo, we living alive. It's like that, y'all. Yo, we living alive. Yo, we living alive. So say it with me, y'all. Yo, we living alive. Yo, we living alive. It's like that, y'all. Yo, we living alive. Yo, we living alive. Spit fat flows to get your head nodding, leave your back froze, make you wander rebel like we Castro. First big brother, cast a shadow, big like Red Jafro, soaking up the ammo in the cash flow. Hey yo, they living in a castle, you living in a capsule, make you wanna get $1 like a little rascal. Put you in a pickle with it, belittle and riddle shit it. Life can be tough, never know when the pickle hit it. I sickle shivet and scribble pivot, the pen prolific is no rivet, no limit. And now in the 10 digits, book of life got me looking twice. And if the questions ain't answered, read a book precise. Better yet, write your own novel, don't be docile. Make it worthwhile and compile up the knowledge for survival. It's a pastime, and the lack of it'll leave you flatline. But when it all on a cloud nine, feeling like yo, we living alive. Yo, we living alive. It's like that, y'all. Yo, we living alive. Yo, we living alive. So say it with me, y'all. Yo, we living alive. Yo, we living alive. It's like that, y'all. Yo, we living alive. Yo, we living alive. Say, take money, money, take money, money, money. Take money, money, take money, money, money. Say, take money, money, take money, money, money. Take money, money, take money, money, money. Say, take money, money, take money, money, money. Take money, money, take money, money, money. Say, take money, money, take money, money, money. Take money, money, take money, money, money. Man, I feel like robbing a bank, and if you all with me, then raise your drink. Man, I feel like robbing a bank, and if you all with me, then raise your drink. I said I feel like robbing a bank, and if you all with me, then raise your drink. Feel like robbing a bank, feel like robbing